Purdy, huh? Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the barren hills still of Tennessee. Yep, home of Dolly Parton. Yes, Dolly Parton, she lost her husband this week. A long time husband, 60 years, I think. So, sorry about that, Dolly. One of the greatest entertainers of all time. Really lived a long life and been an entertainer for a long time. Yeah, I know some of you think she's a little woke. Maybe she is at times. But she's a Tennessean, and she doesn't run to the camera every chance she gets to, what's the phrase, to virtue signal, about crazy stuff like the real crazy folks do, so she seems like a really good gal. So I'm here. I'm glad you're here. It's a little chilly today, but we can stand it. It's kind of typical for March, as I've described to you. I'll give you all weather reports on Tennessee weather. March can be really nice, or it can be cold. Could snow, could be pretty cold, actually. But we're at the 9th now, and we are definitely seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. A couple of weeks, we'll be into April before you know it. So, and then we just, knock on wood, we're probably not going to get any cold weather, just a little chilly weather. We should, in fact, I'm looking ahead at the weather. We're going to take a little trip, and I don't see out there on like a 10-day forecast any harsh weather coming up. I always like to see that, especially when you're at this point, in the season where you're getting closer and closer to there not even being a chance of harsh weather. I mean cold weather out there into the future. So we're not at that point yet, but we're getting close. So glad you're here. That was a Glock 19X, right? You haven't seen one of those around here for a long time. This is some of your favorite guns. Yeah, some of you just love this. You've got one, and obviously, how can you hate it? It's a Glock, and it's 19 slide and Glock 17 grip and everything, and it's basically what was submitted for the U.S. trials, years ago, a few years back, minus the thumb safety. It's pretty much it. And I don't know if it wasn't rigged for MOS, didn't have that. This is got the MOS, so it's a newer Glock 19X. Got this from Davidson's Gallery of Guns. You can get a guaranteed lifetime replacement on every firearm. Yeah, appreciate their support. See them on the target there. I might even shoot it. Yeah, and Gallery of Guns, great outfit, great people. And then also Silencer Central. They do one thing, and most companies that focus on one thing, tend to do it well, don't they? Because a lot of companies, most companies, I would say, really in process of manufacturing all sorts of things, But when you do one thing, and you make a suppressor and you do it really well, that's hard to beat. Appreciate their support. Had a Banish 46 out this week. Yeah, put it on that. What's that thing called? That Smith & Wesson 1854 Stealth Hunter I brought out. Was it last week or week before? Yeah, you saw that. So we put the old Banish 46 on that thing and fired it some. It did really well. You'll see in the video. It did really well. Suppressed with, obviously you wouldn't have to. You can shoot Magnums and be more quiet, but not very quiet, right? With Magnums, you're still breaking the sound barrier. I'm a physicist, I know this stuff. But with subsonic ammo, pretty much subsonic, 44 Special is kind of fun. And I had some that was a little short, had a little trouble, and others that were longer, and that makes a difference. It really does. If you've got a lever gun that's chambered in 357 Magnum or 44 Magnum, and you can find some 44 Special or 38 Special that is overall similar in length Now, some of you are wondering, now, how could that happen, Hickok? It's a 38 special. It's a shorter round, and so is a 44 special. Yeah, the case is shorter, not a lot, but it also depends on the bullet, the actual bullet head, piece of lead and copper, how long it is, how it's seated into that brass. If it's seated deeply or not as deeply and all that kind of thing. See, I didn't just make this stuff up. But I discovered some of the specials would just function like butter, better than the Magnums almost, because they were longer. So just a little tip, no charge. I won't invoice you for that, okay? To get off on all that. Oh, anyway, I also appreciate SDI.edu, the Sonoran Desert Institute. They do exactly what they say they do and always have. They do offer distance learning in firearms technology, gunsmithing, drone technology, and check them out. See if there's some course offering or curriculum that'd be interesting to you. Can I shoot this thing again? I got another firearm. I do. A highly desirable firearm. All right, I'll shoot a couple more. Sorry, Clyde, but I've got a Glock 19, and you need to feel it. Am I recording? Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I feel dumb enough. I don't want to feel extra dumb. I think I hit him some of those. It's hard to hear. That thing's loud. Why is it so loud? I don't know. What do you think, cowboy? Are you jealous you're not getting any lead? How about you, Mr. Gong? Got Mr. Buffalo. I see him moving around a little bit. It just occurred to me, you probably ought to be wary of somebody, maybe even very concerned about them if they're out in the woods talking to their targets. Yeah, naming their targets, talking to them fairly kindly before they shoot them. Yeah, kind of weird, huh? Speaking of weird, I think I mentioned, did I mention Bob Dylan in the movie? I think I did. Saw it just, time gets away, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Rode out to Franklin to eat, one of my favorite restaurants, my wife and I, the Chop House. Oh, I love it. If you're in the area, Middle Tennessee, if you like pot roast, how many steakhouse? I think of them as a steakhouse. Yes, they are. A steakhouse. This isn't part of the chain. There's a chain Chop House. This one's independent, but kind of more of a rural flavor, I guess. I don't know, but it's a nice restaurant. And but I think the first time or two I got steak there, but I discovered my wife got pot roast, and I don't know, I haven't had that in a long time, and I tried it, and I love it. So whenever I go out there, because it's about an hour's drive for me, I get the pot roast. And but anyway, what was I getting to? Oh yeah, and on the way back, we stopped in the Green Hills, and that's the only place I believe it's still playing. And we saw A Complete Unknown. It's a complete unknown movie. Bob Dylan is a complete unknown. No one's ever heard of him, right? Some of you might not have. We have a wide range of people, all age groups that in our demographic. But most of you know Bob Dylan, and quite a few of you don't like him. Probably you don't even like it. Obviously, well, I say obviously, I've never been clear on what his politics really are. He is. I haven't read biographies on him and all that much, but you may know more about him. But he kind of keeps that stuff close to the vest. Even in interviews I've seen with him, and they try to lead him into various political directions. You don't see many interviews. I don't know. He's on a different planet. He always has been. I think he might actually be an alien. I really do, because he's a very odd fellow. Need I tell you that? And really always has been. So wherever those lyrics come from, and that skill with the language, it's from Pluto or Mars or somewhere maybe. He is so incredibly talented, and for me, back in the day and any day, sorry, I don't mean to insult you, but people that say, oh, he's got a horrible voice, yeah, I can stand Dylan, and man, he can't sing, he has a terrible voice. Well, yeah, it's like saying Shakespeare can't write because he writes with a quill pen or some weird thing, you know. I mean, the writing was the thing, the lyrics and his way with words and all that. And I thought his voice, and I guess he can still sing a little bit, but his voice and the way he sang the songs was amazing to me. I thought it was a perfect match for his voice, you know, for folk music and that kind of music. You're not looking for Frank Sinatra singing those sorts of. But anyway, I saw the movie. I knew my wife wouldn't be as crazy about it as I was, but I told her, I warned her. I said, look, I know a lot about him and seen a lot of interviews and grew up kind of with him and went to see him in concert and all that, and have played his records my whole life almost, and so I'm going to understand it better. And I don't know how well the movie, apparently, by all accounts, had been done well, highly acclaimed, you know, actually, and so I just wanted to see it, and I did, and it was good. It was well done. Now, if you don't like Bob Dylan, you don't know much about him, I don't know. It's hard for me to relate to that. Would it be interesting or not? I really can't advise you. I think it might be kind of interesting, you know, because it looks pretty autobiographical. I think they really got into it as much as possible, and that him and Joan Baez and everything, and yeah, it's pretty neat. The guy that played him, Timothy somebody, sorry Timothy, I know you don't feel like you're a somebody, you got a last name. It's an unusual name, I forget what it is, but he is really good, really, really, really good. And that's the other thing someone may not get if you don't know Bob Dylan much, you haven't really followed him at all. The way he captured, I think, the look in Dylan's eyes, you know, his mannerisms, and you know, the microphone with harmonica, and just everything, and the weird things, the looks, and the way he would say, that's Dylan. Yeah, it's kind of Dylan, I think, Dylan-esque. It looks like just bad acting, maybe, or not being dramatic enough, and then the weird things he does, and you know, makes his girlfriends or whoever upset, or he doesn't cooperate in certain ways or whatever. I can imagine it's probably true. I mean, he was his own strange dude. I'm one to speak. Yeah, calling someone else a strange dude. But anyway, I enjoyed that because I kind of growed up with him, but he's older than I am, like what, 10 years or something. So yeah, it's my movie review, and there's no charge for that either. Yeah, did I thank Alabama Holster? Not yet. My gosh, I'm loaded with Alabama holsters. Look what I've got on. Let's load this thing up again. I've got the flapjack holster for the Glock 19. You probably can't see it, but I like that. Kind of a minimalist, but it clips right in there, clicks right in there. Clips too, maybe. Clicks and clips. But yeah, I like that. Quick. It's a nice one. All right. Let's shoot a couple. I know what let's shoot a couple of guns. Let's say that I'm out of ammo and I have to put one of them down. What am I gonna do? Say I run out after about 5 rounds. Out of ammo. Do I have any other recourse? Yes, I do. See, I got my little snubby, my little 5-round snubby. You heard it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So click. Oh, no click. Oh, well, I guess I just shot 4. So, yeah. So, I'm bad at counting. 6 rounds. I wonder what that's about. Some of you already know because I mentioned how I wanted one. Yep, it's a J-frame. 6.32, 32 H&R Magnum. Yes. One of the Grail guns that I wanted, yeah. I still am interested in the one with the titanium cylinder coming out. Really want that one. But I like this one a lot. I got some smaller grips on it. Sorry guys, a lot of consulting went into that by a lot of people. Daryl Bulkey and Brian Eastridge and just all the folks that were advising Smith & Wesson. And it is a nice grip that came up. It feels really good. But it is the G10 by VZ Grips. And that's what was on, it's still on my other one, 38 Special. But I don't know, I've been carrying this one a little bit since I got it, and it just seems to make a J-frame heavier than it ought to be. I mean, it is an air weight, you know. And man, this thing is just heavier. I kind of miss my little 642 J-frame, my original one, you know, with the Hogue, I guess, just really minimalist grips, about like this in rubber. And so I've been messing around. I ordered some other VZ grips, these, I've told you that, G10, and these are smaller and they're rougher. Still not quite as rough as I like, but there's more friction there. And they're smaller. They're pretty much the contour of the little rubber boot grips that I don't know, I think Smith, the ones that come on some of the Smith J-frames are pretty much just contour. And then those Hogue grips are kind of ideal. They feel great. So I have to decide whether these, I like these, I just got them on there. I like these. The rubber ones have a little more friction, but these have maybe enough. So I'm still making that determination. But anyway, this is the 32 H&R, 6 rounds in the same package. And if you study, do your research. I'm not going to try to change your mind on what caliber is the best and all that today. But it's considered very, very effective. Again, pistol, handgun, unless you've got a 44 Magnum with barn burner rounds, handgun just poke holes. And this gives me 6 that are very controllable. Not that I don't have issues really with recoil, if you've noticed. I can handle most things, but without any trouble. It's mainly that 6th round in the same package, and then not giving up really effectiveness. Yeah, so I keep wad cutters in it. Pretty cool. So anyway, I'm glad to have that. Really glad to have that. I love that configuration. I showed y'all a couple weeks ago, didn't I? You know, the sights on these newer Smith & Wesson, you know, like the 642 and the 632, the Ultimate Carries. You can see that they're not, but you got a tritium sight, nice big, you know, sight, the U-notch and all that. And they're just an upgrade on the J-frame, the Smith J-frame, a nice upgrade. And had all the right people involved in advising on that. So pretty nice. You know, I've liked these. I've done several videos with my J-frames and my little 642s. Liked them for a long time. How many years do I have in that 642? We did a 25-year anniversary video with it. I guess it's been a couple of years probably, right? So yeah, crank it on. All right. So anything else you want to know about? Yeah, like I say, I appreciate everybody. Alabama holster. I've got the flapjack, and I pulled that sucker out of pocket holster. Appreciate Alabama holster and everybody. Talon grips. Was doing some comparison this week, shooting this Glock 19 and with my Glock 45, and you know, it's just amazing the difference with Talon grips, how much better my Glock 45 feels than this. And it's the same frame. You know, it just felt so much better. And of course, Ballistol, appreciate them, and Gun Fun Targets. Yep. So, and of course, our new sponsor, Gallery Guns. Pretty cool having a guaranteed lifetime replacement, you know, to the buyer, the purchaser, as long as it, you know, came from them, and you go back through the FFL where you picked it up and all that kind of thing. So keep that in mind, and that might appeal to you. Appreciate you supporting the people that support us. I think I told you last week or before, I actually bought a gun secretly through that system, and it was pretty cool. Went and picked it up, paid the rest of it. Yeah, I really like that thing. I like that thing a lot. Hope it doesn't break on me. I think some of the earlier releases on this they had some difficulty with, but I wasn't in on the early models. Maybe that's a good thing. Do I have any more ammo? I do. I'll put this in my holster because it's hot, I believe. I don't think I emptied that. And what else do you want to know about? You know, well, you know, lately I've talked to different things, maybe in sit-downs on the Talks channel, or here today or on Sundays about people going overboard on what they think they need when they leave the house every day, and you know, need their big kit, you know, like they're operators or police officers or something, and but you know, and some people obviously don't agree with that, and that's. I get it, because sometimes I've got a bigger Glock myself, but just trying to make the point for people that are, especially not gun people, and definitely wouldn't want to fool with all that stuff, that a gun like this is just so effective as a gun to get you out of trouble. And if you're civilian, that's all you need. And whatever you fire from your handgun, it had better be an accurate shot. It had better be accurate, or it is meaningless how many shots you have. You'd better be very careful if you pull the trigger in public. You're not on a range, right? And that's one of the things that make a 5 or 6 shot revolver about as effective as anything for a civilian. So anyway, that's what I'm talking about. The other thing that was kind of funny, John pulled off that clip from the FAQ video of, I don't know, how old is that? 3 or 4 years old. It's when I drove out to California, vacation, kind of, my wife and I, and then finished up the Tucker Carlson interview out there during that time period. But at the Fox Studios, and coming back, stopped in Arizona. First chance I got was around Kingman or west of Kingman or whatever, and got my handgun back out of the trunk and loaded it, and did a little FAQ making fun of California or whatever. Shouldn't maybe have been so mean, but it's funny. So John pulled that out, so if I get to relive all that criticism again, it's funny. There's so many people who, you know, they don't understand what it's like to live in Tennessee or Kentucky or Texas, or name a state, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, I don't know, Oklahoma, states where, well, people carry a firearm and they don't think anything about it. You know, been doing it for decades and don't think anything about it. Like, I don't think about this. I keep this loaded, and it's just not a big deal. It's just like my wallet. Don't think a thing about it. Yeah, and it's not because I'm paranoid. I'm not expecting trouble at all. Again, any more than I expect my house to burn down. Don't hate to say that out loud, but I live in a log house. But you know, I don't expect to be grabbing that fire extinguisher today. You know, in the kitchen, bedroom, or anywhere. I don't expect to have to be doing that. I don't even think about it. It's never on my mind much at all. Just like having a firearm. People who have grown up, though, in a state or a country where carrying a firearm has been kind of forbidden, and firearms are looked at differently politically by your neighbors and your politicians, certainly, your school, your teachers in your school, or whatever, your friends even, because they've grown up in the same area you have. It puts you in this different bubble. You see things through a different prism, totally, don't you? And so it's odd, you know. There are people who legitimately look at me in that video, for example, where I'm just being sarcastic and kind of picking on California. You can't pack a gun. Sure, I feel safer now. I got my piece back out, you know, whatever I said. But they really they tell me they feel sorry for me, you know, and they really kind of do, because they've grown up in just such a different environment. They look at me and you, many of you, as beings. I'm trying to group you with me so I don't feel so alone in this. You caught that, right? Actually, you are with me, most of you on that. They just cannot relate to us, or they don't try, they don't care to, because we're just weird. We're weird, paranoid weirdos, basically, in their eyes. So it's interesting. It's an interesting psychological study, or whatever you want to say. You know, just a study of humanity and how growing up in a different environment gives you a totally different perspective. You know, I know when the Soviet Union broke up, there was a lot about how many people, you have thought everybody had been, oh, finally, we got a little more freedom now, you know, in the commercial freedom and businesses and everything. And there was a lot of, apparently a lot of people who didn't like it. They were accustomed to daddy government taking care of them, and they didn't necessarily want to be more independent. That was so foreign to them, you know. And so anyway, just a comment about that. Can I shoot this thing again? 32 it's a chamber, and it's really making a big comeback. I'm so glad to see that. And there's some great rounds. You shoot 32 Smith & Wesson, 32 Smith & Wesson long, 32 H&R Harrington Richardson Magnum in this thing, and all that. I was not interested in a little. I've never, I guess, never ever been that interested in a really small firearm like this, lightweight J-frame, and like even 327 Magnum, especially 357 Magnum. You start firing Magnums in these little lightweight guns like this, and they hurt. They hurt. This is light enough, really. And again, you're punching holes. If you don't believe it, if you don't know anything about the 32 H&R Magnum or 32 Smith & Wesson long, whatever, and the ballistics testing that has gone on and is going on a lot more now. Yeah, check it out. Check it out. It just goes, and it gives great penetration. You know, it meets all the FBI standards, and so you just have to do your part, like you do with any handgun, and be accurate. Let's hit the Silencer Central logo if I can. I think it shoots right on. Yeah, that was a bullseye. What about the SDI logo? Yeah, it makes it easy to shoot. How about the Alabama holster? Yeah, man, gallery of guns. I'm going to shoot the second G, or the G in guns. How's that? Yeah. Boom. Yeah, you can just place those bullets where you want to. Low recoiling, but really good penetration. Wide cutters, nasty. So anyway. But carry what you want. Get something though you can shoot, that you can shoot well, that you feel comfortable with. There's so many people who are not that familiar with firearms that end up with a firearm, especially a handgun, that's really more powerful than they need. Many of you and I shoot a lot, and we know how difficult it can be some days to hit what you're trying to hit. You know, even when you shoot a lot, or you pick up a firearm that's more powerful than you've been shooting for a while, and oh man, it gets you to flinching, gets you to anticipating the recoil, that kind of thing. Maybe it hurts your hand. You know, it's just, so think about somebody that just doesn't shoot much at all. They're not even interested in spending a lot of time at the range or that sort of thing, but they do want something for protection, just in the event the worst were to happen, the door starts getting kicked in the middle of the night or something. They want something, but they're not a gun guy or a gun gal, and don't really plan to be, but they don't want to be room temperature either, as Rush Limbaugh used to say. They want to stay alive. So anyway, it's an option. And so is this Glock 19. 19X, excuse me. This one has, it doesn't have the threaded barrel that I got from Gallery of Guns, but it has the high sights, Of course, it's cut for the optic, and we've done some shooting with it, and I'll be sending it back here. I don't know. If I were not going to put an optic on it or a suppressor, I wouldn't want those high sights. I do like that front sight. It's thin, though. You get a nice sight picture. I tell you, Glocks are one of the worst firearms to suppress. It's really tough to find a Glock in a bullet configuration, a cartridge, subsonic or whatever, especially subsonic, that works in a Glock. We've struggled with that for years, off and on. I bought 2 or 3 threaded barrels for various Glocks, and I give up now. Except well, you can just go ahead and shoot the regular ammo, hot ammo. Of course, it'll do okay. It's not going to be suppressed or be quiet in 9. It's kind of part of an inherent issue with 9 to some extent, but like with 45 ACP, you don't have any trouble with a Glock. My model 41 is wonderful. You shoot regular 230 grain hardball with a suppressor, and it does fine. But 9mm is just a little different. I guess just some light ammo and change out the mainspring. Someone probably makes an aftermarket. I should look into that. An aftermarket spring. I've got a threaded barrel for a 41X, or no, for 43X, and a threaded barrel for what else? Well, for the 45, Glock 45. It's more of the tactical, like this, with high sights, and it's got a threaded barrel. I should check into that. Someone probably makes a lower power spring designed for shooting subsonic 9mm. I just bet you. Pow. So anyway, anything else you were dying to know about? Yeah, feel sorry, have sympathy for those people. Like in California, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, the people behind the Iron Curtain, they just don't get it, and it's understandable why they wouldn't. And of course, some people don't want to get it. If they just are dead set against anybody having the freedom to own firearms and carry firearms. It sounds like a horrible proposition to them, because everybody knows if you own firearms and carry firearms, you're a violent person. You must be, right? They've watched the movies, they've seen the news. and they're not around neighbors and brother-in-laws and sisters-in-law. They're not around family members and people who are shooting and have guns and talk about them and go shooting. If you're not around that, it is kind of a foreign thing to you, right? Can I shoot this revolver again? I got a flapjack holster, a belt holster for it too, but it's rare I'd carry it like that. It's mostly a pocket gun. Yeah, it's a pocket gun. Let's go out here and pop something with it. Like, I don't know, 2 liter maybe? Pretty nice. Pretty nice. I like that. I like that. It's definitely a keeper. It's definitely a keeper. Y'all ever do that? You put your thumb, if you want to look at your bore, of course you got your cylinder open, put your thumb in there, you can get the light off of, or a patch, a white, anything white's even better than your thumb, but depends on what you're looking for. Young people, do I have any advice before I make everybody leave? I'll probably shoot this again because I like it so much. I know, young people. My advice to young people is, depends on how young you are, and don't misunderstand me. I think sometimes we just start worrying young people too early in life. What are you going to be when you grow up? And they're 7 years old. You need to be thinking about that. I think, we I forgot what it was. Some test John was going through in school, and he was like 7 or 8, and there was this big deal about what you want to be when you grow up, and if you don't understand or know yet what you want to do, it was like supposed to be a big negative. So I thought it was really crazy, but uh, but really, if you're a teenager, you're in high school, you're about to graduate, or you're 15, I don't know, maybe you're my age, still trying to figure out what you're going to do in life. But it is worthy of some research. Just take it upon yourself independently. Forget the adults and look around. If you haven't done this already, hopefully you're doing this all the time, but think about what it is you would like to do. Maybe have 3 or 4 things. I mean, you might want to be a Indy 500 race car driver. You might want to, I don't know, do some things, be someone who climbs Mount Everest and gets paid to do it. I don't know. Some of the things might not work out. I wanted to be Hugh Hefner. It just didn't work out. But be realistic. What are some things you would like to do, you think, that look appealing to you for your life's work? Even though you may change 5 or 6 times like I did. And most people do, but think about what some things you'd like to do. Don't get locked into, or else you're more likely to get locked into something just because it comes along randomly and can't get out of it. And you get married and got 2 kids and you just can't change very easily or whatever. But before that happens, think about things that you think would be interesting to do, and then don't just think it would be interesting to you. Research it, study it. Talk to people that do that. You don't have to rush out and do it this weekend, but I mean, be about that. Be about that. If it takes you a year to research whatever it is you think you'd like to do, off and on, look what are people making? What's the average salary or income of people doing that particular thing that looks interesting to you? Where do they live? Are they barely getting by? And maybe that's okay. You want to do that so badly that you don't care what the income is if you have to live in a 1-room apartment and struggle by it. Fine, but do it with your eyes open. So that's what the research is about. Figure out what that job is about. It might look more appealing than it actually is from the inside, from someone who's actually done it. So talk to real people doing those things that know about it. Try to get a better handle on what it means, because I had no handle on money in terms of that. I don't think hardly any young kid does, probably. But like, what's it mean? I remember my mother telling me that some teacher lived down the street. One of my teachers, I don't know how it came up. They were talking, maybe his mom and dad talking, said they made like $5,000, and this was like in the 50s or 60s or something, but. They probably make about 5,000. Somehow they knew that, or whatever year that was, or something. And I thought, wow, someone gets paid that much. It'd be like right now, if you're in high school and you don't really know what people make much, for some reason you hadn't thought much about that, and someone told you that your teacher's making $65,000 or $70,000 or $50,000, whatever they're making. You might go, wow. Oh my gosh, I made $2,000 working last summer at the golf course, or $5,000 all summer long. They're making like $60,000 or $75,000 teaching, or whatever it might be. It sounds like a ton of money. Well, it might be. I don't know, but you need to be able to put all that in perspective. And or some other profession you're thinking about, it pays an average of $150,000. So that's what I want to do. Well, you look into that, and it's not as desirable as it appears, And there's only a few people making that much, or some are making twice. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Just research it, and then make sure it's something that looks interesting to you. And then if you just know you want to do something, you're lucky. If you really have a drive to do a specific thing, regardless of whether it's enough for you to eat very well on or whatever. And in some ways, that's really neat, because you'll be a happy camper probably, whatever your income is. And just something to think about. I've been in a lot of different jobs and a lot of different incomes ranges, as I've talked about, from very low to pretty high, and you can't count on, starting a YouTube channel or something that's just going to blow up. It might happen, but it's, everybody's doing that. John and I have been very lucky with this. This is something that just doesn't happen to many people, to be able to make a living, a good living doing what we do, doing something that I'd be doing most of this anyway. It's just fun and shooting and talking to you and telling you all lies and that kind of thing. So unfortunately, I'm a little bit of an aberration. This was kind of stumbled upon this, really. Just got in doing this early on and have had a lot of fun doing it, and have had a good income for a long time. And it was a lucky kind of thing, partly, and then I was just sort of didn't know it, but I was kind of preparing for it, being a gun nut my whole life, teaching school, all those sorts of things just sort of came together. Enough of you had poor judgment and started watching, and same sort of thing. You still do, so. But I mean, you can't count on something like if when, I don't know, if in 2007 when we started making a couple of videos fooling around for fun, if I'd been thinking, if I'd even had the notion, hey, let's make some videos. I'd like to quit teaching and make a living just making videos and all this kind. That would never happen. That was not on the radar, and nobody was doing it at that time anyway. So you can't plan things like this. If you get into the areas you really enjoy doing, though, you never know what's going to happen. Good things can happen, right? But anyway, that's my advice. I talked too long on that. Be thinking about it now without worrying. Don't lose sleep over it. But it would be smart to be researching what you think you might want to do and bounce around several different things. And because you may discover, that's not as desirable as I thought it was, or I've talked to some people trying to get out of that. It seems like everybody I talk to that does that is looking for something else, So anyway, can I shoot this beautiful little revolver again? Okay, I can't shoot it off the table. It's got to go in my holster. All right. I'm just minding my own business, not hurting anybody. Oh, I wasted that jug. I should have blown it up with something bigger, right? So, pretty cool. A little bit of a contrast today in firearms, because I'm a bit schizophrenic anyway. A Glock and a J-frame. Interesting, huh? All right, so I confess I'm a gun nut, and I make no apologies for, another entry into the collection. I really like it. Again, you would think at my age, I would have determined a long time ago what my carry gun is. When you talked about that before, but it seems like every year I get something else in the rotation that's pretty impressive to me. I really do. I'm always experimenting, always learning. Right, hard to believe, but yeah, I learn a few new things here and there. So just got to get the grips right. That might be them. These might be right for me. A little small. I'm looking at, on the new ones that are coming out. They're putting on the Ultimate Carries. They're going to be that titanium model. Hamre, I think you pronounce it Hamre Forge, Hamre, I think Hamre Forge grips. They're putting on those, and they're lighter than these. The material is just a lot lighter, but yet they're still a little bigger, I think, than these. They're more like the G10s that come on these Ultimate Carries in terms of size. So I'm anxious to see those and feel those. They're sold out. I was going to buy a set of them. They're just sold out. Seems like every kind when I go to their website, but I'd like to try those. Those might be, I don't know, they might be bigger than I want, or they might be exactly what I want. I'm just not sure. These are pretty nice now. I like, when it comes down to it, I like the smallest firearm and the smallest grips that feel good to me, and I can not just get by with, but that I'm comfortable with, that I can shoot it well, And that's been a focus of mine for a long time. Is a lot of people think, how in the world, Hickok, at 6'8", do you even shoot one of these things and hold it, because you may have normal hands and you've picked up a J-frame. No way I can shoot that. My little finger, even my second finger, ring finger, hangs off of that thing. And how do you? Well, I made it a mission in a way, because it really pays. If you can shoot a little firearm like this pretty well, just think of the doors it opens. Just think of the options it gives you. It enables you to carry this little lightweight thing that's a very effective firearm, and not even know you have it. Yeah. So that's always been the attraction, whether it's a baby Glock or whatever it is. The heck with my little finger, that usually gets us in trouble anyway, milking the grip. So these two fingers are the ones that I grip with. That's where the strength, even if I'm shooting this thing, I might just be holding it like that. See my little finger? I try to really keep my little finger is just bare. It's like it's dead, because I'm not used to using it with a grip. I'm holding it because I might have a Glock 19 in my hand with a shorter grip, or a Glock 26, or a P365, or whatever, a little revolver. So I just really never get used to using my little finger. It's just, there's my typical grip. If you look at it, my little finger, like I'm squeezing this thing hard, and I know it's clear. I'm pointing it around here, but I don't know if you can see that. But see, my finger's just barely, it's just really resting against my ring finger. Okay, now I'm sorry, every trainer, like trainers would be watching me, but anybody who's a trainer probably saying, yeah, that's why you can't shoot it, God, it's like you're an idiot. But that's just the way I do it. I don't get that little finger into it, because on most firearms I'm not going to be able to. So what I'm doing is, if I do, just because I can get my little finger on this one and squeeze it with my little finger, I tend not to, because it's rare that I have a grip this long in my hand. I don't want to mess up my grip. Pretty smart, huh? Yeah, see, I'm smarter than I look. It's also the reason I stick with certain types of sights for the most part, and I don't want to pull my gun up. And with one gun that I happen to be carrying, is I've got a gigantic dot on it, or I've got an optic on it, and the next one I don't, that I'm carrying it. I want to be, I know that makes sense, whether you think it does or not, to be consistent with your sights as much as possible, kind of thing. So anyway, part of that's because I have too many firearms. And I'm going to shut up. So really appreciate your support, and the people that support us, check them all out, and keep coming back, because I'm going to be here probably for hopefully for a while. I'm trying to stay healthy, and I feel healthy. I can jog over there to the gong and paint it and jog back if I want to, even though I'm an old guy. And a lot of people can't when they get to a certain age. I've been very fortunate to, knock on wood, to just kind of motor the way I always have. As I've said before, the only thing I probably couldn't do, and I don't even realize it, I probably couldn't go down to the gym and get in a pickup game, full court, maybe even half court, with a bunch of guys and play basketball. But I haven't done that in 30 years anyway. So I don't experience any real limitations, because I don't even try that. Right? Maybe I couldn't climb that tree like I used to, but I don't have a desire to, so I never experienced that limitation, like be 10 feet up, oh, I can't do this anymore. I didn't realize, so I just kind of motor on, do everything I've always done, for the last 30, 40 years. And so I'm very fortunate in that regard. But you never know. When you get to my age, it could start going downhill, just like my brain has. That's the only part of me that has gone downhill. The rest of me seems to be fairly consistent. So until my brain is completely gone, I'll probably just keep doing this. You never know. But anyway, rambling too much, and just enjoying the chilly weather out here. And I hope I'll see you next Sunday. Don't forget to check the Hickok 45 clips. John's pulling off for the clips channel and the shoots channel. I posted some more talks. And again, help people out on the clips channel to realize that those are clips from videos, and when they get mad that I'm not explaining something more and or whatever it is, it's because John has just pulled out a piece of that video, okay? In the original video, I'm certain I was just so informative and brilliant, but on that clip, maybe it's just a piece of the fun that he's pulled out. Yeah, so talk to you later. Life is good.